little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that...
In today's video, the potager has a scene change as the Pixies put down their feet and firmly show Summer and her bad manners to the door.
Does somebody find that vintage love?
Let me embrace thee, sour adversity, for wise men say it is the wisest course. William Shakespeare.
Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Within the walls of the little house, autumn has arrived, even if it requires a great deal of denying reality when one steps foot outside the doors and into the cloying heat of the perpetual Louisiana summer. But with the turning of the season, fully embraced by the Pixies, there was simply nothing to be done but to take a firm hand with nature and proceed with the already criminally delayed fall garden as if we believed autumn might actually arrive at any moment. Mounds of discarded leaves cluttered the garden paths and raised beds, while withered plants who could not withstand the attention of the uncomfortably close sun lay like so much carnage strewn across a dry battlefield. Despite our best efforts to keep the Pixies' potager hydrated with daily watering, the sun had had its way in the end, and now many of the summer plants would have to be pulled. There were some exceptions, such as the leggy tomatoes sporting tufts of new foliage, covered in bright yellow flowers and small fruit, peppers who had decided, come hell or high water, they would have a fall crop, and a particularly confusing situation where our 4 kale plants from the spring were happily donning new leaves as if almost daily temps of 115 had not just been our last month's reality. The tomatillo plants, though looking a bit worse for wear, are enormous, covered with fruit and flowers, and have now provided a substantial increase in full-time bee employment that would make the federal government green with envy. So after a thorough evaluation, we decided to begin putting the potager back in proper order, and so we began with cleaning up the mess nature had left, while we were avoiding her hot-tempered company. scene of summer's mayhem had been cleared, it was time to bring in the new cast of characters for the fall production of Will the Potager Survive Whatever Future Insanity Nature Has in Mind? The Pixies, ever the optimists, have unshakable faith that this version of their leafy theatrics will not have a Shakespearean death scene at its finale. Hearken thou back to the Garden of Summer for reference, if thou hast not lived it thyself. The rest of us, however, are slightly less confident, but are unwaveringly determined to do whatever we must to assure a happy ending. New icing buckets in varying sizes have been procured by our lovely friend who picks them up at a local bakery and who also is fully invested in helping the Pixies Potager experiment live up to its potential. The buckets were scrubbed clean by diligent pixies and had holes drilled in them for drainage before being filled with the rich soil and worm casing combination. Old garden beds were fluffed up and compost added to them to give the new plants who would be tucked into them for the season the very best chance at thriving. With the preparations completed and the scene set, it was time to bring in the cast and introduce them to their new homes. Cabbages of several varieties were selected, including Flat Dutch, Chinese, Red Cabbage, and Extreme Vantage, a green cabbage. Alongside them was green magic broccoli, snow crown cauliflower, and a particularly interesting green spirally Romanesco cauliflower. The cabbages immediately informed us that they prefer their bed loamy, rich, and filled with organic matter. The broccoli was good with loamy soil, but suggested it was a heavy feeder and would be requiring catered meals on the regular. And the cauliflower loves to sunbathe for most of the day, and all of the Brassica family are heavy drinkers. Hopefully we can keep things under control over here. The less temperamental beans, cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes were added to the potager with the hope that we would get one more harvest before nature suddenly decides to get frosty with us. Shallots, leeks, beets, carrots, Swiss chard, and Irish potatoes are also amongst the cast of characters the Pixies have chosen to participate in this year's fall and winter production. As a side note, despite having a bit of Irish blood running through our veins, the ability to grow white potatoes with ease has eluded us, but not for a lack of trying. When our 5 eldest Pixies were very small, we lived on the coast in Southern California. Potatoes grew with the greatest of ease. So far, not so much in the potager. New potatoes, enough to make a small meal for the Pixies, or a feast for any visiting fairy folk, is about as bountiful as it has gotten thus far. But because we are stubbornly opposed to disgracing generations of potato-loving and growing ancestors, we continue to tuck the seed potatoes into various new planting beds and wait to see what comes of our tenacity. If nothing else, and when all is said and done, I would like to think we have not failed in our tuber-growing endeavor, but rather found the 10,000 ways that won't work. And yes, we did just give a reluctant nod to Edison. However, the odds are in our favor through sheer numbers of attempts made and a deeply ingrained stubbornness to give up before mastering a skill that eventually we will produce tubers which have not been eaten by pestilence, withered by disease, rotted by too much rain, baked by too much sun, or just simply didn't like our attitude when they were planted. Sweet potatoes, on the other hand, grow with little encouragement from us. They're not clingy and needy, and confidently grow to maturity without being pampered, bless their independent little selves. As a matter of fact, sweet potatoes just move themselves in and volunteer in corners of the potager that no one remembers intentionally planting. But since they are also prolific little producers, they are far and away our favorite root veg. So, in a pause in their work, the Pixies checked in on the volunteer sweet potatoes to see if they were ready to leave their comfortable beds and become delicious additions to the Pixies' winter meals. And as it turns out, they were. We then proceeded to dip all the vegetable starts in a solution of water and Fox Farms microbrew before being tucked into their own beds, while seeds were simply poked into the earth and covered. To finish up, the Pixies placed their copper electroculture spiral antennas into the newly planted garden beds and buckets, and everything was given a drink of water spiked with Fox Farms Grow Big, otherwise referred to as the Golden Pixie's elixir of life. Throughout this entire process, the baby cats had kept a curious eye on our goings-ons, and had even attempted to lend a paw here and there, before losing interest completely and retreating to managerial positions, self-tasking the overseeing of the potager labor force from the comfort of the porch. With the potager looking more like herself and the leafy folk now happily in community, we all took a moment to appreciate the start of a new garden season brimming with possibilities. The rewilding of our Pixies is as much an exercise in resilience as it is in building their skills. Disappointments in the form of unforeseen battles with insects, heat, rain, or the lack thereof, disease, and a myriad of other challenges are simply a reflection within the potager of the realities of life. When I was young, my Grandpa Van Wyck would remind me frequently that nothing of any worth comes too easily. It didn't really matter on which topic we began, the conversation would eventually wrap its way back around to this truth. And at the time, I didn't fully understand all the nuances of this simple statement, but as was usually the case, he was spot on. He knew that as humans, we are naturally wired to impute value to things based on the difficulty to attain these things, even though it's not a conscious practice. Things that are rare in life tend to loom as priceless in our minds, and things that are plentiful and easily acquired are cheapened in our estimation. There was a time when we learned these foundational lessons from life organically, as we worked to survive and observed natural cycles of life and lived in community with our families and friends. But along with the great blessing of modern advances and plentiful things, we've lost the plot in so many ways. It can be difficult while fully submerged in our current lives to learn lessons we don't have to struggle with or sacrifice to attain. I can assure you that if we are ever able to grow a proper crop of potatoes, you better believe we will be intentional with how they are stored, used, and enjoyed, because their value will be very high indeed. While our grandparents lived through breadlines, world wars, and a rapidly changing, technologically advancing world, and had to face a formational adversity that left them appreciative of everything they struggled to attain, the following generations of prosperity often fought their own battles within an environment of plenty. And isn't that just the two-edged sword? The balance between being prosperous enough to not be in a constant state of need, and enough adversity in life to give us a proper perspective through which to ascribe value on the things we are so blessed to have in our lives. For the Pixies, as with all of us, learning to properly assess value to things is not always easy in a world that is increasingly pandering to our desire for ease. But there is a certain instinct inside of us that still innately recognizes that the harder we have to work for something, the more value it contains for us. And this is a lesson I would rather the Pixies learn and take to heart in the midst of plenty, rather than being forced to learn it when there are no choices. So we continue to set before them the old ways, the longer, more winding roads, the obstacles that will hone their problem-solving skills, and surround them with older and wiser individuals who can challenge their perspectives. So you are not worried for them. This doesn't ever look like drudgery in the Pixie's life, as these things are interspersed with imagination and tea parties, creative endeavors, play with purpose, and adventures. But if we are not intentional to teach them that life is difficult and how to properly value things within the safety of our family, then life certainly will, and as we all know, she is far less kind with her lessons. Thank you for joining us today and for watching our videos. We really appreciate your time and your lovely comments so much. We hope, if you haven't already, that you will like the video, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it all helps us to continue to grow. See you next time.
In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider, surely God has appointed the one as well as the other, so that man can find out nothing that will come after him. Ecclesiastes 7:14.